Hello, this is the Hebrew Hillbilly coming at you from the beautiful Midwest, sweltering, bug-infested, just sultry summer day. There's producer Jeeves over here. Uh, the subject that I've been teasing at, I've been saying we're going to get to for the past couple of weeks.
Don't worry about it.
Oh no, I'm not worried about it. I just honestly, I've been dodging it because it's not something I want to talk about, but it is something that's very, very, very important and does need to be talked about. Uh, and that is men's health, and that not just being shy about getting your oil checked and things like that, which you should do. You should do. You should uh, definitely do. I'm more about men's psychological health. Uh, in particular, the suicide epidemic, especially amongst veterans. It's not something that I'm not. I'm not a very emotional person, if you will. I mean, I have emotions, but my emotions range from happy to pissed, and that's about it. My dad, which I will say was probably one of the most. He was the greatest man I ever knew, and he was one of the most loving and kind-hearted and good people that any human being would have been privileged to know, and anybody who knew him would tell you that. But he was not an overtly emotional man. When I was 12 years old, I don't remember what it was, but something was 11 or 12, and I was crying about something, and it was important, whatever it was, because he told me, he said, "I'll give you a few minutes," and he walked away and he let me cry, and then he came back and he told me, "Okay, now don't you ever let me see you fucking cry again." And that was the end of it. And I don't think I've really cried about much since, except for uh, uh, an illness that my daughter had faced, and a few extremely uh, frightening or emotional things that had to do with my children and my grandchildren. Other than that, no, it's just not something that I mean, later on, my dad did tell me that when I asked him about it, he told me that because if you show emotions to people, they will use them against you, and he's absolutely right, especially women. It's rare that a man finds a woman, and that's true. And if you find a woman that you can show emotion in front of, you've got a good one. And that will not try to use it as some type of ammunition or some type of way of belittling or demeaning you later. Then you've definitely found a good woman. But
That's
it's a very rare thing to find,
yeah, that's a big part of why this is being brought up is in the age of the internet where every dumbass has a fucking camera. You got
especially these two dumbasses.
yeah, you got a million fucking women on like fucking TikTok and Instagram and YouTube shorts just airing their dirty laundry, fucking talking about their boyfriends, bitching about their boyfriends, over just the most benign shit in the world.
Mhm.
It's, you know,
So it's yeah, emotions are. I, like I said, he producer Jeeves is of a far younger age than I am, but in my generation, you didn't show emotion; you took pain. That was the sign of a man, and that is still. I mean, and for the most part, I will tell you, no, I'm not going to get emotional over things. I learned a long time ago that if you have those emotions, and from my dad and from other situations and other people in other instances, I've learned that you find a place inside you and you put those emotions there, and you don't show them to people. It's just not something that is going. There is no value in showing people emotion like that. But in that, there is it because you need emotional outlets. Um what was it? Somebody told me once, and I don't remember who the hell it was, but they told me that they boiled down life for me in the most basic way they possibly could have. And that was, and it was in a discussion of happiness and thriving and things like that. And we're going to get in. This is actually not going to be the only time we discuss this. Next week we'll discuss, because there's something else I've been seeing a lot of, and it kind of helped to bring this situation, this discussion to a head. And that was people discussing younger people I'm seeing on the internet doing these videos about how, and sometimes it's an America sucks, and sometimes it's a woe is me thing. But it's young people that are struggling financially. They have jobs. A lot of them were suckered into college, and as I've said before, college is not a scam. How they get you into college is a scam, and that's the truth. College is useful. There, like I said, if you have an A, as in BA or MA at the end of your degree, then you're going to be paying off student loans for the rest of your life, probably working for Starbucks or McDonald's, okay, because it's not useful to you. But if you have an S, as in science, then you have a pretty good possibility of landing a pretty good job. I mean, it's the liberal arts have become something that there's a use for, uh, hobby wise. There are small niche jobs, excuse me, small niche jobs that they can help you with. But generally speaking, there are way more people with liberal arts degrees than there are degrees in the sciences, and they're not going to do you much good. Okay, they really aren't. The days of, oh well, all you need is a college degree and they're going to hire you, those days are over. Okay, those days never really did exist. You need a specialized degree. Your degree does matter. So college is not a scam. A lot of what you're being taught in college, a lot of the degrees and stuff are a scam. But there is use for it. Just as there's use for trade school, and not only that, there's use for good old fashioned visceral experience. I mean, that's. I'll tell you the truth. If I owned a business, uh, and I have before, I've and done well. I just got out. It was in construction, and I got out before the housing collapse in the early 2000s. Uh, but if 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 I had a choice between some 24-year-old kid with a Harvard degree or some 30-year-old cat who had worked for a few years and then went to a community college and got himself uh, uh, a degree in the sciences, especially in our construction sciences, I'd hire that 30-year-old guy every day of the week and tell the Harvard guy to go pound rocks. Honestly, but that's because that's more useful to me. But like if you go to Harvard and things like that, and there is something to Ivy League schools too. But I'm getting off track here. I'm just saying, I don't even know what the hell got me onto the whole college thing. But anyhow, I can talk way too much about it. Oh yeah, it was the people that are talking about how miserable they are a bit about having college degrees and things like that. Shit, we probably ought to just go ahead and kill this whole thing. But nah, we'll leave it on there. The fuck ups are just as important as the times when we do it seamlessly.
Hmm.
But no, I will be talking much more uh, about those situations, about things that I've experienced in my life and ways. I mean, because you're going to have to suffer through that. It's the country doesn't suck. I ate out of dumpsters when I had a job. I was homeless at times when I had jobs. It's just the way it is. I mean, but this is just an overall. Uh, I guess we'll call this the first chapter of Men's Health. That'd be a good title for it. Uh, or Men's Health chapter, whatever. But this is an overall, just kind of look at what other things we're going to be dipping into. And the one thing I do want to tell people is, because I've said it on here before, that therapy is a scam. It's a confidence scam, and quite frankly, to me, it was. I mean, for years as a kid, my mom was one of these people who lived by therapy. But to me, all I saw therapy as was, hold on a second, I gotta cover the label on that. Hmm.
No free promotion.
Yeah, no free promotions. You dickheads want to give me some free burritos? I'll show your cup. Other than that, no. But life was boiled down to me by a man, and it wasn't that he was some nihilist, or he was glib about it. It was he told me, and this was this that I've never heard of anything more true in my life. He said that when you're born, you are born into a world that you had no choice but to be born into. Nobody gave you a choice. That you live your life spending the vast majority of it doing what you absolutely have to do. And if you are extremely lucky, every once in a while, you'll get to do some things that you want to do. And then, way before you're ready, it ends a lot sooner than you ever thought it would. And that's about as simple as it gets. And genius lives in simplicity, and that was probably the most genius statement I'd ever heard. Uh, and because it's true. I mean, there is no guarantee of happiness. Even in the Constitution of the United States, it says you have the right to pursue happiness. It doesn't say you have the right to be happy. You just have the right to pursue it. Uh, hold on. But can't show you that label either because they're not sending me free chapstick. So piss on them. Life is a struggle. It is. It is. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's not. And I'm not saying this to be rude. It's not special. You're not. You're not unique in that. Most other people feel like that. It's important as a man. You need to find somebody who you can discuss that with, who you can talk about that with. It's not weakness. It's and not necessarily a doctor or a therapist. I mean, because honestly, you go to a doctor and they're going to give you what do they call those, SSIs or SDSs or whatever the hell they call them, the supposedly anti anxiety meds, and anti-depression meds and things like that. And I have a thing about those, which I'll get into in a minute. But I'm not saying don't go to a therapist. I'm saying therapy may work for you. It didn't work for shit for me. I mean, to me, it was the monologue of the narcissist listening to.
Yeah, the issue with therapy is that most people who are therapists aren't suited to be therapists. And the few people who are usually don't make a lot of money because they're good at their job.
No, no, no. They make a lot of money because the drug companies paying them to pawn these fucking medications off on people.
No, like good therapists, they don't make a lot of money because they're good at their job. They help people fix.
Oh no, 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 no. Good there. Or, well, I don't know that there are any good therapists, but no, therapy's a fucking money making racket.
Yeah.
It really is. But there's no reason to be good at your job if your job is to help people. But the faster you help them, the less money you make.
That's
You know what I'm
the
saying?
point.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And
Yeah.
a good therapist isn't making a lot of money.
No, that's why I say, in my opinion, there are no good therapists. But like I said, if therapy is something that can help you, what helped me, and I did have some teen angst. I had issues when I was a kid, nothing real serious, and I was never really suicidal or anything like that. Never deeply depressed. But honestly, what helped me was at 17, was I did what's called a vision quest, which, for, uh, anybody who's, not, a First Nation, person, an American Indian, that's I dropped acid, okay? But I dropped acid in a controlled environment, and honestly, it cured me. It I haven't really suffered from any significant, emotional issues since. I've had problems that I've had to deal with in my life, but I've learned to deal with them, and I've learned to cope with them. Uh, my biggest fear is, and I'm gonna get into that, what I was talking about earlier now, is the medications that they give. These antidepressive medications. When I was a youngster, whenever I was about 15 or 16, it was right before I, dropped acid for the first time, because, I had I there was a doctor, I'm not gonna say who he was, but there was, a doctor who was talking about putting this is when these medications were brand new, was talking about, the possibility of me using them to get past, some emotional issues. Uh, my dad had a best friend, and I'm not gonna mention his name because the man was a mentor to me. I loved him like an uncle. He was a hell of a guy. Uh, it was one of, like I said, one of my dad's absolute best friends. The reason I won't mention him is because his, daughter is a giant twizat who, quite frankly, if I mentioned his name, she would probably try to sue me because she's the kind of woman who I don't know how she turned out this way, but I'm surprised she hasn't been arrested for digging up bodies to steal their jewelry. She's the kind of woman she'd squeeze a nickel till the buffalo shit. It's she just any way she could get money, she would do it. She's just horrible, horrible fucking person. But he taught me how to shoot. He was a anything my dad ever needed, he was there. Anything he needed, my dad was there. They were just best friends. And he was going through a tough time with his wife. And this is a man who was happy most of the time. He was a good guy. He never really showed any depression. He was a man's man. Heavy smoker, drank a little bit, but nothing too serious. But just a man's man. Uh, but he was having some issues. Him and his wife were split up, but they were trying to work it out, and he was a little down because of that. But they were working it out. As a matter of fact, they had been going on dates again. They were trying to, revitalize the whole relationship. But anyway, it was there. He had never shown any sign of any real deep depression in his entire life. But it was when these depression medications started first coming out, and his doctor told him, "Well, I'll give you some just to, it'll help you out. It'll help brighten your day. This kind of shit." Well, he took it and he'd been taking it for about, it was like a daily thing. He had to take a pill, or so, whatever it was. Anyhow, but it was about a week after he started taking them. He walked into his garage. He was going to go somewhere, just stopped, pulled the pistol out, or his pistol. He kept a pistol in his glove box. Pulled the pistol out of the glove box of his car, stuck it under his chin, and blew out the top of his fucking head. And the truth is that these medications, if you look into them, psychotic episodes and thoughts of suicide and shit like that, these are side effects of medication that's supposed to make you happy. Which is when I decided not to take the medication and got away from it. And somebody had told me that their hallucinogenics, under controlled circumstances, are have shown uh, that they help with that, and quite frankly, they do. I'm living proof of it. One acid trip, vision quest, whatever you want to call it. Uh, pretty much cured me of the of any real deep depression. I really, not to say that I'm not sad sometimes, not to say that I'm not angry sometimes, but it helped me to control it. And I've seen that here. The there's been some steps taken by the government that where looking into hallucinogenics and MDMA and things like that in a therapeutic setting are they're going to start allowing that, at least allowing for the testing on that, which is a very good thing because and and people say, well, my doctor's given me the medication, he told me okay, yeah, that's true, but they are doctors, and not all doctors are scammers. Not all doctors are going to screw you. And I'm not like these new age medicine nitwits that are telling you, to stick crystals in your butthole or whatever crazy shit. Cherokee hair tampons, like
Oh God.
that kind of no doctors are vital. Okay, most of them are, but they are also people who are running a business. They are people who are uh who have fiscal needs, and these drug or companies do pay them a lot of money to push their products. If you don't believe me, fentanyl.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, oxycodone. If you don't believe me, uh
Just yeah. When I was younger, I had to take fucking Lexapro for anxiety, and just it's the biggest side effect of Lexapro is that one of my favorite breakcore songs is has a very accurate title. Lexapro doesn't work. It doesn't make you less anxious. It just makes you stop giving a fuck.
well, there
You
you go.
don't feel anything, and the anxiety's still fucking there. You just don't notice it.
It's like weed.
Eh,
Hmm.
uh,
It's like weed.
Less pleasant.
Oh,
Because Lexapro makes you not hungry. It makes you just fucking
lethargic.
lethargic. You don't fucking feel anything. It doesn't make you less upset. You just stop caring. You know?
It's like there's been a no, I've never been an opioid. I've used, quite frankly, I've used more drugs than most people could possibly imagine. I'm not gonna say I was never a drug addict. I was a drug enthusiast. Okay, when I had to quit drugs for work or whatever, I didn't use them. But when had the opportunity to use them, I oh man, I did. Belton. Uh,
And just to get this out here, don't use drugs. It's you typically shouldn't use drugs,
yeah.
especially you know. I don't know who needs to hear that, but
Well, that's the thing, but I've never, like I said, I've never really been addicted, and quite frankly, I don't take drugs anymore because, I mean, I'm even hearing stories where they're putting fentanyl in like weed and shit,
oh
and
yeah,
taking people out like that. People are, thinking they're just gonna, toast a little bit of that hippie lettuce and have a good time, and next thing you know, they're laying on the floor, foaming at the fucking mouth and dead. So, that the whole fentanyl thing pretty much just killed drugs for me altogether. But even before that, because when you got shit to do, you got shit to do. You can't always just party. I mean, we all got to grow up or sooner or later. But as far as drugs from doctors, I mean, just because the doctor is giving it to you is not necessarily a reason that you should. It's not the all encompassing, okay, well, the doctor gave it to me. It's fine. Take the time to look into it yourself. Um, the best thing I can tell most people whenever it comes to men's health, whenever it comes to men's psychological health, the one thing that really helped me more than anything in the world is my kids and my grandkids. Really, focusing on things other than myself is what helped me most. Uh, or what helps me most especially if I get down in the dumps over something. uh Having a couple of grandkids running around is about the best therapy in the world as far as that goes. You're never in your life going to find anything more wonderful and satisfying than that, or having having your kids around, just people that you love and care about, something to take the focus off of yourself, because a lot of and again, I'm not, because it's important to focus on oneself. I'm not denigrating by saying this, but a lot of anxiety and depression in men is it comes from your focus on yourself. And if you can get your mind away from that, even for a few minutes, if you can just find something, gardening, going and riding a bike, uh, uh, if you're into shopping, say, you know, or working on cars, or doing something with your hands, doing something that takes your mind off of the you and puts it on the other. That's a good help. But whatever you do seek help. Okay, it's necessary, and it's not weakness. It's not. Again, I mean, the veteran suicide thing is once you've seen enough death, death kind of loses its mystique or its patina. It loses its, and it becomes, life and death become more transactional. That's about the best way I can put that. But as far as veterans go, there's a reason why the suicide rate is so high, and it is because life is not, when you've seen enough life taken, it's not, like I said, death goes from being a taboo to an option. It loses, like I said, it loses its mystique, or its patina, or the fear that surrounds it when you've seen enough of it. So, uh, which is probably why veterans. Yeah. But I mean, I've never really been suicidal as far as that goes. Really, um, but I've had things that have helped me. Like I said, kids, grandkids, strong family, uh, bonds with friends, that never made that option something that I considered very, very seriously. But I understand exactly why they do. I mean, I, I'm having trouble saying. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a trained therapist. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm just, get help. That's what I can say. Find help. There are people who are out there to help you. I mean, hell, go to an AA meeting, even if you're not an alcoholic or something like that. I mean, there are support groups if you feel alone. Uh, go to church. My belief in my creator is one of the strongest things that I have, and suicide in Judaism is not looked upon like it is in Christianity. It's not the horrible mortal sin that it is, but in Judaism, it's your duty as a living human being to use the life that Adonai gave you to make the world better, even if it's only just your very little portion of it that you're making better. That is your goal. That is your duty. Um, so harming yourself because of how you feel is not really something that would even be considered an option, because how's harming yourself making the world any better? It's uh find help. That's there's church, support groups, family if you have it, friends, uh tasks. What was it? There was a remake of a really good movie, Flight of the Phoenix. First one, Jimmy Stewart. I'm a huge Jimmy Stewart fan. If you don't know that already, you haven't watched other videos, but Dennis Quaid redid it, and they done a superb version of it. But there was a line in it where a guy was talking about the desperation of their situation, and I don't remember it exactly, but it's basically he said uh, uh, something to the effect of if you can't or he said give people uh, uh, I don't remember what it was, something to the effect of give people or give the people in the group uh, or a reason or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but he said give them a reason. If you can't give them a reason, give them hope. If you can't give them hope, then just give them something to do. And quite frankly, that it was good advice. I mean, it is a movie, but it is good advice. Get out of your own head. If you need help, if you're stumbling across this and you're feeling some kind of way, that's my first lesson. That's the best thing that I can tell you is just for a minute, get out of your own head. Find somebody, talk to somebody, help somebody, find a task, but get out of your own head. That's I'm probably gonna leave it here as far as that goes. Okay, I just mentioned there's two movies in one. Flight of the Phoenix, both the old one with Jimmy Stewart and the new one with Dennis Quaid. Both are excellent, excellent, excellent movies and well worth watching. And there's enough differences in the two of them because that's not a carbon copy remake. It's they varied it up enough to make it to make it worth watching both. But and we will get back on men's health and the finer directions through most of this series. But yeah, you're not alone out there. You are not alone. Know that. All right. This is the Hebrew Hillbilly. Producer Jeeves, you got anything to say?
Yes, actually. This is how I approach pretty much every situation. The Dragon Ball. If
Yeah,
you're
across your chin.
shut
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. This is how I approach every fucking situation. Don't be too fucking afraid to do shit. If you're too afraid to do something, then you're never gonna do it. If you feel overwhelmed, there's 3 steps I follow for everything. Stop, breathe, try something else. The breakdown is if you're doing something and you feel like you're not getting anywhere or you feel like you're not making any progress because you're too scared to progress, stop doing it. Breathe, take a step back, give yourself time to catch your breath, figure out, get your mind back together, try something else. Think about what you are doing, what you could be doing better, what you're doing wrong, and then just try doing it a different way if you have to. You know, it doesn't matter if this is for life, for your job, for a fucking boss in a video game. It's helped me get through a lot of shit. It's helped me with my job. It's helped me again, like figure out crap that in life. And again, it's helped me with bosses in video games. I was stuck on a boss in Terraria for the longest time. Followed those steps, kicked 2 bosses' asses in a day. You know,
I'm going to pretend that I know what you're talking about because that is good advice, like I said. And don't be discouraged by failure,
yeah,
okay? Like in life, you are going to fail 9 times out of every 10 tries. That's just a fact. That's life.
If you don't
Sig-
fail, you
yeah,
never know how you can succeed.
exactly. And failure is simply when you fail is not a reason to give up. It's a reason to put your forehead down, to put your shoulders into it, and push through the failure to success.
Yeah.
It's
And that's
yeah,
where my advice comes in.
yeah.
When I was younger, a lot of
Well,
stuff I
I would say that that's opposite sides of the advice because sometimes if you put your shoulder down, you're just failing deeper and deeper. But there are at times when you need the wisdom to stop,
yeah,
step back, and look at something differently. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, don't forget, and a lot of people are gonna forget this because everybody feels like they've constantly been. It is okay to do nothing
Hmm.
if you're doing nothing to stop yourself from doing something stupid. Okay? A lot of people forget that sometimes you do need to take a break. Sometimes you need to step away from things. Sometimes you need to think about something else. Do not kill yourself trying too hard, you know? You got to use your head sometimes, and to use your head, you got to have a clear head
Hmm.
sometimes. All right, that's all I have to say.
Okay. And as I say every week, union. Your trade unions are out there and they need people. They, whether you're in New York or California or Illinois or Texas or Indiana or Ohio or Louisiana or Tennessee, the trade unions are out there and they need people. And if you have a college degree, don't be afraid to go to one of these unions and apply for an apprenticeship. Try to get yourself in there. uh, if things aren't working out in your respective field, if you just want to change a pace and you think being out there and getting that fresh air is something you might want to try, like I said, you have carpenters union, you have the heavy equipment operators union, the laborers union, the electricians union, the iron workers unions. They're all out there. Just honestly, if you've got a cell phone, which pretty much I think everybody in this country has one. I even saw a homeless guy talking on a cell phone. And last time I was in Cincinnati, so yeah, I mean everybody in this country has a cell phone. Hit the button on it, the speak button, and just say skilled trade unions in my area, and they will pop up. Every one of them. Look into it. Great jobs, and you make good money, real good money. It's real easy to land in the six figures. Now, if you're one of these people who just doesn't want to work, it's not because you're gonna even as easy as I've got it. But I still have to work sometimes. I still have to get dirty. I don't get dirty a lot, but it's out there. I mean, you're gonna have there are times when you're gonna have to do that work. So, but yeah, especially if you've got something in your career that's driving you nuts and you hate that, there's a simple solution out there. Trade unions, baby. It's good work. It's good people. If you've had a few brushes with the law, also that's not disqualifying. Okay, as long as you've paid your debt, you've done the right thing, and you're living life clean. You'll probably be able to get in there. It's not going to be that much of an issue, but you got to stay sober. You can't be walking in there high. You can't be going to work drunk. Things like that. Okay, if you can stay sober, you can get or lay off the weed for because you got to go to work or you got other important things to do. It's a good job. It may be for you, but look into it. Like I said, I'm going to let this go. It's been a hard one, and I'll get better about it. Like I said, I'm not an emotional person. I'm not someone who is very comfortable talking about my emotions, but uh, it's something that it is very important. And to all my brothers out there, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. Anyhow, this is the Hebrew Hillbilly and producer Jeeves. We're signing off. Shalom.